Hey, what's going on, guys? We're live again with another video. Today, I wanted to cover not only some transfer news updates, some injury updates for the Arsenal's first team, and also all things that Mikel Arteta uncovered in his press conference earlier today. I want to give you guys a breakdown of every word in a summary of what Mikel said in his press conference. And also, you could say he took a dig at the Kroenkes with regards to us not having a striker. Striker we can rely on for the rest of the season, and our attack being thin. Arteta does address it in his press conference earlier this morning when he was asked about transfers, and he was asked about how Wolves have done since Vitor Pereira's appointment, the squad size, and how thin our attack is. We're going to be talking about some transfer updates with regards to Aiden Heaven from Arsenal's under 18 academy. Looking like Man United are trying to snap the academy kid, with some other clubs interested as well. Zinchenko to Dortmund is another injury update. Sorry, another transfer update I talked about yesterday. There were some further updates today from Hand of Ozil. I'm not going to say he's an ITK or a reliable source, but it does seem like West Ham could be one of the Premier League clubs interested in Zinchenko, but at the moment, Dortmund seemed like the most viable option if the player was to leave as early as this month. I'm going to provide you injury updates on William Saliba and Miles Lewis-Skelly, who was unavailable for selection against Dinamo Zagreb, was not in the team due to knee-related concern, and then William Saliba felt something in the previous game, a hamstring-related concern, and has already missed 2 games for the Arsenal. I'll also uncover my predicted Arsenal 11. What do I think Wolves will line up as, my score predictions for this game, and we'll briefly touch upon any transfer updates throughout this stream. So if you're watching on YouTube or if you're watching on Twitter, thanks everyone who's joined in. You might be watching this on the replay, and if you are, this is going to be a Wolves versus Arsenal match preview. 3 o'clock kickoff at the Molineux Stadium on tomorrow. Tomorrow we're playing, and then right after us will be Man City Chelsea, which is the biggest game of the game week 23. Hopefully we're still waiting. I guess the doubts of injury concerns around William Saliba and Miles Lewis-Skelly, if they would be risked for this game or even used in this game at all, is one to watch for sure. But first and foremost, let's go into everything that Mikel Arteta said in his press conference. Arteta was furious in his press conference today. And I guess it does shine at our owners, the Kroenkes, and us not, making any signings as of yet. Arteta did talk about how weak our attack is and how limited our attack is. And it all points directions at the Kroenkes. The Kroenkes, on the other hand, they want to see investment spent in not only us giving the Kroenkes giving Arteta money, but they want to see us being able to sell players that we no longer need. The likes of Jorginho, the likes of Zinchenko, Kivior, if we can make player sales. Even though in the summer we made good amounts of money in player sales from Smith Rowe, cashing in on Smith Rowe, and, offloading some wages. You could say we're still trying to offload wages of Zinchenko and Jorginho. I don't think Jorginho will leave in this window, unless maybe Fluminense, that Brazilian team. He did say he would like an opportunity to go back to Brazil to play, so that's one to watch. But Arteta talked about today players returning from injury. Miles Lewis-Skelly, he said there was nothing serious on the scans. Thank God, because the last thing Arsenal need is Miles Lewis-Skelly to be injured with already having a thin and frail squad. The scans came out all right. It's nothing to worry about for Lewis-Skelly. And he did have a training session today. Arteta said he'll most likely play the next away game, so not this week. He'll probably sit this one out or be on the bench for this one. Ben White, he's still not available, but earlier this week we heard that Ben White returned to light training duties on the pitch. We are truly missing Ben White, guys. I'm telling you. I know Timber is great at center back, great at right back. Most of his time at Ajax, he did play in a center back position. But Ben White is just such a shithousery type of player, and we really miss some oomph like that in this team. I think it's quite essential we would have Ben White back in this team, and for me, we can always change. Um, Arteta was not asked anything about signing Cunha. I didn't say he was. He was asked about Vitor Pereira and how Pereira and Wolves are doing, and he was asked about the striker related situation, and he was asked about transfers in his press conference, which I listened to and heard. Hi Taki, thanks for joining. Rosie, big up to you, thanks for joining. Anyway, back on my flow. Whether it's essential we sign a forward this window, Arteta did talk about how we lost two important players, which means Bukayo Saka being out for the season, most likely, probably returning to light training in April, as early as April, but I don't think they're going to rush him back. And Gabriel Jesus tore his ACL, and that's him out for the rest of the season. Arteta clearly points out the fact that we're lacking goals, people, and options in the front line in our attack. He does not negate from it. He doesn't shy away from the media when they're asking him about the essentials and importance of us taking a forward this window. But he does say we need someone who's really going to help us, ideally in attack. We're short, and it's even shorter when we're losing players to injuries. And Arteta said we have to do what's right for the club. But I do want to say it's better for us to put our money where our mouth is and put these words into paper, pen to paper, for signing this window. The deadline is February 3rd for the transfer window. And he did say if presser asked him, a media person asked him, do you think it's an option that we would not sign a striker this window? Do you think the window would shut with us without us making a signing this window? He did say that it's based on the market opportunities, on what's available in the market, and many other factors. He did say we're still working on identifying targets and communicating with our targets, and no opportunity of a domestic loan. We can't do a domestic loan unless we made Sterling or Neto permanent, which I don't think we would do. Sorry, if we give back Neto or give back Sterling, and I don't think we would do either of those, and I don't think Sterling would leave this window either. Even though he's become a really frustrating player to watch, he's barely making an effort in this team, I would say. In the last couple of games I've seen him play. Arteta said our opening game day against Wolves, that was at home. I went to that game. Arteta said we're a much better side so far this season. We've evolved as a team. He says we have important experiences we've gained through in the last 7 months, but this game's away from home. And the one thing I would say is Wolves are not good at corners. So I know Arsenal are quite good at corners. And if you saw that Man United game yesterday versus Rangers at Old Trafford, Man United literally tried to copy the corners that we do. Arteta is now having to face a new manager, Vitor Pereira. Arteta did talk about how he knows Victor's relationship from previous clubs and his ideas. He'll try to set up the team well, and I don't think it'll be a walk in the park for us tomorrow. If we're going into tactics, I do think that Wolves will change some things tactically to set up against us, but I do think they'll try to get us on the counterattack. Dawson's experiences with pace either side of him. We don't know about Tati's hamstring, Rodrigo at left wing back, and then Ait Nouri. I think it's a good option for them. Strand Larson, he's been playing alongside Cunha, and then Ait Nouri. So my lineup for Arsenal this game week, and unfortunately I do think that we would have to play Thomas Partey at right back. And I know it's so dreadful to see him in that position, but because of the situation currently, I don't think Arteta would move Rice to centre back, even though he said it previously in his last press conference that we would consider playing Declan Rice at centre back. Keep in mind, at West Ham, Declan Rice has played at centre back previously, and then we could just keep Timber at right back. But I do think the Arsenal lineup, going straight into the Arsenal lineup, predicted lineup for this game, I do think Arteta would go with the default lineup, which would be Raya, Partey at right back, Timber at centre back, Gabriel, and then Zinchenko at left back is who I want to see. Guys, Zinchenko in the last game we played against Dinamo Zagreb. He had a really good game, and you got to give credit to Zinchenko because um, he doesn't he often gets scapegoated, and I know he's not good defensively. You can say defensively he has flaws. So be it. Every player does have good things about them and bad things about them, but you got to give credit when he has a good game and a good performance. And Zinchenko is someone who's been almost completely axed out of the squad. He barely gets regular minutes of game time nowadays, even though we have so many center backs available and so many left backs, half of them being injured. But Zinchenko had a really good game against Dinamo Zagreb, and I think he should keep his place in this game. Tactically, I also think Zinchenko would help us. He just produces so much ball control, running towards his own goal at full sprint. Handles the ball under pressure, good on the ball, off the ball. I think the only thing is he doesn't offer the same thing physically as others defensively, and his technical ability I think is really good. So that's something I need to talk about. I think he's really good in terms of his being gifted physically, and then I think he's one of our best left hand side left back options. So for me, Zinchenko keeps his place in this lineup. Odegaard in the midfield with Rice and Mikel Merino. And then my front three would be Martinelli on one side of the wing, Kai Havertz and Trossard on the other side of the wing. Martinelli left wing, Trossard right wing, or you can interchange them. Martinelli right wing and Trossard left wing. Martinelli has played on the right wing before. We did see it happen before, so you can interchange the two on the flanks, no problem. With regards to Wolves, I think Wolves are going to be careful with who they're going to play in goal based on Arsenal getting good at based on Arsenal dominating on corners. That's one to look at. I do think Wolves have some injury concerns with Totti's hamstring, so that's one to worry about in terms of them. I don't think they have any other serious injuries, so I think it's going to be Johnston in goal, Rodrigo, Totti if he's available, maybe a last minute fitness test depending on his hamstring related concern. Dawson, Agbadu, Nelson Semedo, Andre, Jay Gomes, and then front three is Cunha, Strand Larson, and Ren. So for me, that's my Wolves lineup. I do think Wolves are going to try to get us on the counter attack, and they're going to play a keeper who won't take crosses. So that's why I think Johnston would play for Wolves because of Wolves have really bad set piece record. I know it's hard to say Johnston will start because he's barely started for Wolves and he's not that good for them. But their main keeper, he's terrible at corners, and if that's the case, I think we would win comfortably. So, the match against Manchester United and Chelsea have been rearranged for TV. So the Man United game at Old Trafford is now on March 9th, and the game against Chelsea is on March 16th. Okay, wow, they postponed two of our Premier League games for TV. So the Arsenal need a striker. Yeah, we did talk about the striker situation. Also, just a record for you guys. Arsenal have scored each of their last 34 meetups with Wolves, each in all competitions since a 1-0 home loss in February 1979. So Arsenal have scored in every single game they met with Wolves in the last 34 appearances in all competitions since a 1-0 home loss in 1974. That's an insane record. But we did have a 2-0 loss with them during COVID time when there was no fans. I hope we win tomorrow. My score prediction is going to be a 2-0 Wolves, 2-0 Arsenal away to Wolves at the Molineux Stadium. I think Wolves are going to really struggle against us, especially on set pieces. We can get at them. I do think they'll try to get at us on the counterattack. It is a game on the road for us, but 2 games on the road back to back for us. But for me, it's a win on the road. And I do think Martinelli, especially in the last game against Dinamo Zagreb, I know it's a different competition, but Martinelli is starting to look like the Martinelli we all know and we all want to see the best of. Havertz as well, he got a goal and assist the other day against Dinamo Zagreb. And Trossard, the last couple of games, Trossard has been all right. So I'm not changing that front three, and I don't want to see Sterling anywhere near the starting 11. respectfully so. With regards to William Saliba, Arteta said that he could be available for tomorrow. Personally, with regards to the injury concerns, I just want to say I wouldn't risk playing Saliba in a game like Wolves away. I think we can handle the job at the Molyneux Stadium without Saliba, and then just make sure he's back fully fit and available for that Man City game at home on the 2nd of February. That's a game where I really want to get revenge on City, especially for what they tried, what Haaland, that robot, and that big crybaby did to Gabriel throwing the ball on his head. He's just a big crybaby, and whenever things don't go his way, he throws his toys out the pram. Um, that's one game that I really want to go to and I plan to attend. So hopefully, when I'm there, I hope Arsenal will win against Man City, and it would be great to beat them. I know other teams have beat them, so and this season they're not as good. So even in PSG the other night, they were not good at all. So I hope Arsenal can take advantage of this downfall of Man City. With regards to how I think the game will go. I do think Urian Timber will be at center back. He did play there against Aston Villa. I know Kivior played left center back role against Dynamo Zagreb. Kivior had a good game the other night. I did talk about it separately in my Dynamo Zagreb match review. Arsenal is really light on options in attack going into this game. That's one thing that's concerning. But Ethan Nwaneri and Trossard are Ethan Nwaneri's on the bench, Lewis Kelly's on the bench, Sterling would be on the bench, but is that really an option? And then the rest are pretty much kids. Jorginho would be on the bench. Ben White's not yet back, so he's not available. And then Saliba, I wouldn't even play him in this squad. In this team, I wouldn't play him for this game away at the Molyneux Stadium. I think Wolves, you shouldn't underestimate them. They've been all right this season. Not too bad, not too great. I do think they've just been average, but some of their players to look out for would be Cunha. And I think this is a game where Cunha will play. I don't think he'll be dropped just because of what happened on Monday with him going straight down the tunnel and not clapping off the fans. I do think things will be sorted out with Cunha's new contract at Wolves. I know the manager, Vitor Pereira, came out earlier today and said that as of now, they're still trying to tie down Cunha. And he said he had talks with him earlier. He's very committed to the club. He said he never asked to leave the club. He's here tomorrow and determined to beat Arsenal was exactly the words that Vitor Pereira said. So for me, I do think this Cunha talk is... I still think the player's going to stay and end up signing a new deal, but in his contract extension, he'll add a release clause. If Wolves were to get relegated, then I do think he'll shift away from them in the summer. Definitely one to watch moving forward. I'm quite confident for this game. I do think it'll be a good result for us. Definitely 2 games on the road for us now. We need to take advantage of these games on the road to keep a closer gap from Liverpool, to keep the distance smaller from Liverpool, who are top of the league still, and Liverpool playing Ipswich at home. That's an easy win for Ipswich. Easy win for Liverpool against Ipswich, sorry. And I don't think it'll be difficult for Liverpool. They're playing at home in Anfield. They're in really good form, and even Salah, Trent, Virgil van Dijk, Liverpool have a bench even if their first team gets injured. That's one thing that we don't have. So after Wolves, we then play Girona away, another Champions League away game. We're playing the last group stage game away from home. That'll be on Wednesday. Then we have Man City at home on February 2nd, which is a game I really want to go attend live. It would be the second time I would see Man City play live. The first time was at the Charity Shield at Wembley, but this would be my first time seeing City play live at the Emirates. Hi, Jordan. Thanks for joining, Jordan. Big up to you. I wanted to talk about Arteta's press conference and just do a quick preview for the Wolves game tomorrow at 3 p.m. 3 p.m. in the UK and 10 a.m. in Eastern Standard Time. I'm confident for this game. I do think Arsenal can dominate on set pieces and hopefully our defense will stay solid in this game. I do think, unfortunately, we would have no other choice but to play Thomas Partey at right back. When I give a predicted 11, I often think, what would Arteta do? And Arteta would probably stick to this lineup, or it's Odegaard. Yeah, I do think the midfield would still be Odegaard, Rice, Marino. I don't see Jorginho starting this game. He did play a full game against Dynamo Zagreb, so I don't think he would play this game. We're playing a game every 3 days. You have to rotate somewhere in the squad, so I do understand that. But I don't understand the Thomas Partey at right back, even though like it seems like we're sacrificing the midfield whenever we're playing Partey at right back. And I'm not blaming him for the goal that costed us against Aston Villa. I do think the team collectively, defensively switched off when Marino gave them the first goal lead, own goal, and then of course we drew 2-2. But you won't catch the media talking about it like the way Man City bottled a 2-0 lead to PSG in Paris the other day. So guys, let me know your predicted Arsenal 11 based on players who are available. We did hear that Miles Lewis-Skelly and William Saliba could make it into the lineup tomorrow, but Arteta did say that Lewis-Skelly is looking like he'll be in the lineup next week. Saliba could make the team on the bench. I hope not. Personally, I would rest him and make sure he's fully fit and ready to go for Man City at home. Definitely a game where we need Saliba and Gabriel's partnership, unmatched partnership in this league, as good as Virgil and Trent, if not better, I would say. Also, I'll update any transfer news the minute I hear any updates from Ornstein, Fabrizio Romano, Ben Jacobs, or Matt Law. We're still waiting to hear if we're going to sign a striker or a versatile winger. I know, hopefully, we've been working in the background, but for me personally, it's looking like maybe if we get the pieces going with Zinchenko leaving out the door, could it be one out and one in this window? I know the window is expected to close on the 2nd of February, and it's looking like Zinchenko could be the player expected to leave, with Dortmund looking to capture his signature, and some other clubs like West Ham could be in for him. With that being said, folks, I am going to wrap up this stream. Let me know your score predictions for the game. I went with a 2-0 Arsenal away win on the road. Arsenal's next 2 games are away on the road with Wolves in the league, and then Champions League away from home to Girona in sunny Spain. Arsenal need a draw against Girona to officially make it into the next round of 16 of the Champions League, top 8. So, best of luck to Arsenal tomorrow. I'm quite confident going into this game. I don't feel nervous one bit. And it'll be interesting to see the talks around Cunha tomorrow. But I do think he'll play. Hopefully he doesn't score against us. And more importantly, Arsenal have not kept a clean sheet in the Premier League in several games now. So I really hope we can go back to keeping a clean sheet, like we did at the start of the season. And that would be great for Raya as well. With that being said, folks, let me know your score predictions going into this game away at the Molineux. Let me know your predicted lineup. And what did you make of the Dynamo Zagreb performance? Arsenal are unbeaten. I think clean sheets in the Champions League, all home games, they've kept clean sheets. So that's quite good record for us at home games in the Champions League group stages this season so far. In the group stages. I hope to go to a round of 16 European away, depending on who we get. That would be a great game to go. Nothing beats a European away day trip. Thanks everyone who's tuned in on Twitter and on YouTube. If you're watching on Twitter, I do have an Arsenal-related YouTube channel. I talk about all things Arsenal men's, women's, and the academy. Sometimes I do talk about the academy in streams like this, or streams where whenever there's a women's game, I do cover it, and I do talk about the results. I did talk about the manager change from Jonas Andeveld to Renee, who's been unbeaten with the ladies team. Thanks everyone who's joined. Lots of football tomorrow, some great games. We'll be doing a watch along tomorrow for the Wolves Arsenal game on Moss Sports World and my channel as a multi-stream at 3 p.m. And then I'll be on Dan Gunner's channel, the Adams Arms stream, for just an Arsenal chill chat. So thanks everyone for joining. Sorry I flustered my words a bit, talking too fast, but Have a wonderful Friday, everyone. Enjoy your Friday afternoon or evening, wherever you are in the world. Thanks for tuning in, and do make sure to like the video. If you're new here, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. Click that red subscribe button after you check out my other videos. I did a Dinamo Zagreb match review the other day after our 3-0 win in the Champions League group stage game at home. Thanks, everyone. Have a wonderful rest of your Friday. Adios.